What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 51 of Lyon Live, here in Football Manager 2019. Hopefully you guys are doing good. We're back, yes. If you haven't seen it yet, the Bottom at Christmas Challenge mini-series that we were doing, the challenge with Burnley, is wrapped up, which does mean my primary focus is shifting back to Lyon Live. So for those of you who are fans of this, fantastic news. Hopefully you have been enjoying it. Yes, today we're going to be kicking things off with the Club World Championship squad registration. We actually have the first game of the episode today, which is against Tottenham. It's the last game of the Champions League group stage, but we are already guaranteed to finish second in the group, so I may play a rotated team for that game, just with some of these other fixtures in mind. You can see the Club World Championship semi-final is not that far away, so we will definitely be doing that, and probably the final as well. But before we can get into that, we do need to register a squad for the competition. So that's what we're going to start with doing here. Now, the squad registration rules, you can only have 23 players, which really isn't that many in the grand scheme of things. So I've got to be a little bit picky, I guess, about who I actually register here. There's going to be a few younger players who perhaps do have to miss out. Looking at things here, I don't think we're going to need 3 goalkeepers. Ultimately, it's a competition which involves 2 matches. Danny Olmo's out injured for a little bit. I could still possibly bring him with us. I think we'll include Trincao. And then we're left with one other spot. Who do I want to take? This is a bit of a tricky one. I think we'll include Danny Olmo. Actually, I should probably, now I think about it, just take Glenn Kamara for the sake of having a little bit more coverage at centre mid. Maybe. I don't think we're going to end up using whoever we select here. We'll go with Glenn Kamara just to ensure that we have a well-rounded off squad. Danny Olmo probably isn't going to be that happy about it. I forgot to mention, by the way, I should have mentioned this at the beginning, if you didn't see yesterday's Burnley episode, you might be looking at this going, this game looks very different to last time I was here. Yes, I have updated the skin that I'm using in FM. We have a new version of the TCS WorkTheSpace variant. It is obviously a dark skin. Nice to have a bit of a change of pace. I've been staring at purple for 6 months of Football Manager 2019. So for my own personal sanity, and so that I can close my eyes at night and not see purple, we're changing things up, which hopefully you guys appreciate and like the look of. I think it looks really super clean. The download for this isn't available just yet. There's still some minor improvements being done to it and changes. But you can see here we've updated the club overview panel, myself and Tom, the creator of the skin. But yeah, there are a few little problems still in a few places. For example, if I just go to development training, you can see here that this stuff just isn't great. You shouldn't need to scroll to see all the different attributes. So it won't be publicly available just yet. When it is available, I may even do a video just talking about the skin and how to install it and stuff. Just as a reminder, I occasionally see people messaging me on Twitter saying, hey, I've got this problem, it's not looking good, you know, the tactical screen, the picture's cut off. Unfortunately, just with the way that skins have to be made, it's kind of tricky to design it for all different screen sizes and resolutions. So this skin is very much designed to be played at 1920 by 1080. Kind of your standard 1080p monitor, or just slightly below that, which is actually what I do for my videos. Behind the curtains, just a little thing, I record at like 16:9 aspect ratio, but not quite full screen, and then I'll scale things up a little bit. I realise that half of you don't care about this, but it's just a little tidbit. You may have never noticed it. I do scale things up just a little bit, just so that those of you who watch on mobile devices get everything just a little bit cleaner. Occasionally, I've tried watching videos on my phone, and if the game's played at just a full screen, it can sometimes be a little tricky to see all the details. But anyway, we're going to continue onward and forward here. You can see Toussaint doing very, very well in training. I absolutely love Toussaint. I think he is a personal favourite of mine. Markovic apparently has been developing nicely, and I think that kind of shows in just how good he looks, the Serbian international centre-back. Definitely want to give him some more first-team football opportunities this year if the opportunity arises. But anyway, as I said, we're getting into this game against Tottenham. I am desperate now to get Vincinius Jr. as unsettled as possible. Fiorentina have rejected an offer to play a testimonial game for Georgian. I mean, that's a bit harsh. But apparently they've not got the time of day for him at the start of January. Obviously, we are scouting all the players whose contracts are expiring at the end of next month. There's a few players that we're looking at as maybes. Gabriel Barbosa, Luka Jovic. I think it's Luka Jovic. At Benfica is an option, perhaps. But at the moment, we're not making any immediate moves for players. Anyway, for this game, we are going to play a rotated 11. I want to play Trincao as an inside forward on attack, not as a winger. Only Coman plays as a winger out on that right-hand side, at least at the moment. But yeah, with this kind of first game of the episode, we already have our position in the group secured. So with that in mind, I'm going to play a rotated 11, a very good opportunity for some first-team football in the Premier League for these players. Looking at it, interestingly, Tottenham continuing to play a strongest 11. A little bit confused by that, but whatever they want to do, I can't knock them. They've not lost in their last 5. We may well lose this game, but I'm not too fussed about that. I really can't stress highly enough just how important regular first-team football is for player development in Football Manager. It makes a world of difference. So in a game like this where it's kind of a dead fixture, there's not a great deal to play for, we have a bit of a congested fixture schedule coming up, it only really makes sense to rest some players and hopefully just leave our squad in the best possible situation for the upcoming month or so. I guess it's nice, really. We're at the start of December here, and traditionally, when I manage in England, the start of December is the start of where the fixture schedule just goes to absolute crap. Like, you just have so many games played back to back to back to back to back. Obviously, in France and many other European leagues, there's a little bit of a winter break. So we've got that to look forward to, but our schedule is more congested than most just because of the Club World Championships, which I am looking forward to do. It's always something that I like as a little reward that you get for winning the Champions League. Of course, we will back ourselves to do well in it. Whether or not we can win the whole thing, I mean, you'd expect us to, but it can be tricky. I'm not going to get too carried away. It can definitely be not plain sailing. Anyway, 15 minutes gone in this game. We've had a lot of the play early on. We are playing the direct attacking style of play. At home, definitely a debate to say I could play the more controlling style of play, but with us having slightly less technically gifted players, I think it's probably just in our interest to go a little more direct with the play. If we find ourselves getting caught on the counter, at the moment we're not having quite as much of the ball as I'd like. We can always just change things up to the control the possession system. But equally, unlike some games where I'm sat there thinking every step of the way about every little change that I could possibly do, given the I guess stakes of this game, I'm pretty kind of fine with us not necessarily playing the optimal strategy, if that makes sense. Of course, you want to win every game, but I won't lose sleep at night if we lose against Tottenham here. They're top of the group for a reason. They're a good team. They won the Champions League in the first season of the save, obviously. We won it in the second season and knocked Tottenham out in the knockout stages. But they have got a pretty good little team. Anyway, you can see, looking at the average ratings, it's been a teeny bit disappointing. Lucas Romero on a 6.4 is probably the worst of the bunch. Moise Keane as well on a 6.5, not been great, although you could probably apply that to just about every player in our team here. No one's really stood out, except unlikely hero Moreno on a 7.1, the highest average rating for either team. Anyway, you can see here, statistically, very much in control, but without creating a great deal, which is a little bit of a problem. And when I say in control, I guess in terms of possession, maybe not, but in terms of just, the team creating the opportunities, we are definitely the team in question. I'm going to change things up. We're going to switch to the 4-2-3-1 controlling style of play. You can see here, they're making a double change. They've who did they bring on there? I actually missed that. They've brought in Nitcham and Dele Alli for half-time. So I guess perhaps a similar mindset to ourselves with them taking off Christian Eriksen. This game is not the be-all or end-all. Moise Keane's not been particularly good, so I'm going to take him off and bring in Goebbels. Elsewhere, Trincao's been a tiny bit disappointing. Lucas Romero's been really poor, though, so we'll take him off Ndombele. I'm thinking we'll probably end up bringing Coman or Fekir on with maybe 15 minutes left, just to change things up. But let's see what we can do here. Tottenham with the ball at the back. Rochbach. That's probably not how you say the guy's name, but it sounded good. With the big kick forward. Gnanon Good little interception by him. Gananon, actually an interesting player. He is a player who last year had one of the best average ratings in the squad. He played about 10 league games as a starter as part of our ongoing, rotation. But he's always been a player we can rely on. And well, speaking of players we can rely on, Houssem Aouar, what a finish that is. Saint Maximin with the assist. But make no mistake, that goal should be accredited entirely to the midfielder. First time hit, keeper can't even react in time, might have even been caught off-sighted by the Tottenham defence. And our reserve team actually doing the business right now, although, let's not speak too soon. Let's not count these chickens before they hatch, because Tottenham with the ball. I've noticed Tottenham's kit here, I don't feel like this is their away kit. I feel like this is their third kit. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've just not watched Tottenham enough this year. It's very blue, isn't it? In fact, now I look at it, I think it is actually their second kit. I want to check. This is what you come here for. We inspect kits. Maybe it is their third kit. I'm not going crazy. I wonder why they're playing that. I guess it's because we have a little bit of blue on our kit and their away kit features blue too. It's always weird, isn't it? Kit matchups, let's be honest. Sometimes they just don't make sense. The general rule, I don't know why I'm talking about this trivia, and I'm sure most of you already know about it, but the rule with kits is you have to have kind of a white kit and a dark kit. So although in some cases there might not be a kit clash with the home kit, and the home kit, kind of the way I think it's FIFA rules work, is essentially whatever your designated light kit is, the opposition have to wear their dark kit unless they clash. And then your third kit, which in this case is kind of like a light kit and a dark kit for Tottenham, they can just use that when colour clashes happen like you see here. Anyway, pointless trivia. It's not really trivia at all now I think about it, but if you've ever watched an international game and you've gone, I don't know, why are England wearing their red away kit against France's blue home kit when they could just wear their home kit? Just because of the way football is. It's, France's blue, although that's a bad example now I think about it, because France's home kit is a dark kit, not a light kit. I can't think of a good example, but I don't need to think of a good example. We've just got a last minute winner. Gananon. I didn't even react to them scoring. I was too busy thinking about kit colours, but it's 2-1 here. Francisco Trincao with the last minute assist. This match isn't going to mean a great deal to us, but hey ho, good to see players playing well, getting some goals and assists for their statistics for the year, and ultimately, not a bad little win for our second string team at all. Hopefully we can now build off that going forward. That's got to be the aim, hasn't it, really? Anyway, to the dressing room. Well done, lads. Good win. More of the same next time, please. We received £2.4 million. Gravenberch played for Porto, which is good news for his development. He's just turned 18 fairly recently. He looks like he'll be a very, very tidy player for us in the coming years. Really like the look of him a lot. Aouar picked up man of the match. We'll give him a little bit of a praise. Why not? And we do also receive just shy of £1 million for doing well there. Anyway, let's get into the next game. We've got Troyes next. It's the Coupe de la Ligue, is it? Yeah, the Coupe de la Ligue, 4th round. Now, Troyes are a team who I think they're in the second tier. Let's just check. Yeah, they are. They're 4th in it. With that in mind, what I think I'm actually going to do is a little unusual. I am going to play the second string team for a second game in a row here. I'm going to give them a 2-day rest. They've just disposed of Tottenham, who were unbeaten in their last 5. They should be more than good enough to beat Troyes, you'd hope. Anyway, at least for now, our unsettling of Vinicius Jr. is over, so we'll cancel that there. Update on Terrier's loan. He's been played out of position. As long as he's playing football, I don't really care where he plays. And looking at it, he's playing a decent amount of football given how poorly he's playing. It would be very easy for Lille just to drop him, but they're actually persisting with him, which is brave of them. You can see our scouts here just throwing out some different suggestions. Gonzalo Moroni's an interesting one, a player who I've not seen in FM this year, but he's always been a good little solid player. He's kind of that mould of player that we don't really need, however. I feel like when you look at our team, on the whole, there isn't anywhere really immediately in the first team where I'm like, that's a weakness, we need to fill it. Look at the squad depth here. Maybe left back, we could get in at left back, but we don't desperately need one. If we just up the minimum ability to 3 stars, you can see even when you up the minimum ability to 3 stars, we're still in a very, very good kind of position when it comes to our team. And yeah, the strength and depth is not really a concern of mine right now. I feel like we're in a fantastic little spot. Maybe we could do with a left back, but I feel like between Moreno and Mendy, we have 2 more than competent left backs. I saw someone actually leave a comment recently saying, you need a better left back. I guess if I was looking at absolute world-class talents, yes, perhaps the left-back position is the area of the pitch we lack in the most. Kind of when you look across our team, especially with our best 11, there aren't really that many gaps in it, I don't feel like at this point. I feel like at this point a little bit of squad depth isn't really needed anywhere. Rather, I'd be better off just spending a bigger lump sum of money somewhere down the line. Anyway, Bertrand Traoré doing well in training, which is good for him. He's not played as much this year. You can see his value's taken a little bit of a tumble. PSG are still interested in him. I'm pretty open to the idea of selling him. I think Kingsley Coman's come in and really shined for us. If I could get in the region of £14 million, it would also open up the opportunity to possibly go and sign Vinicius Jr. from Real Madrid, which would be, well, obviously a huge signing. Make no mistake, that would be an absolutely monumentous deal for us. One that I'd be pretty excited about doing, to be honest. But anyway, Coupe de la Ligue, 4th round. You can see here the other games going on in the Club World Championships. Guangzhou versus Suwon and Sundowns versus Santos Laguna. I don't know who will play here. I guess it's done as a draw still. Obviously, the Club World Championship has lots of different stages, and as the European Champions League winners, we do come into the competition just a teeny bit later. Anyway, we've rested the players up here. I'm going to stick with the team that played that last game. They obviously beat Tottenham at home. We should be able to beat Troyes at home now. Hopefully, Keane can have a little bit of a better game as the attacker today. Looking at it, they are playing quite defensively in the wide area. So with that in mind, I'm going to try something a little different. We are going to push our wing backs up a little bit. We're going to give them a bit of permission to go forward, see what they can do for us. They are playing quite a keen counter-attacking system, Artois. They're going to look to maybe hit us on the break. If it isn't working out for us immediately, I might switch to the control style of play, but I don't know. I feel like our pure quality on the ball and just attacking talents should be enough to dispose of them and just really overwhelm them. A few corners in the opening 10 minutes here. Unfortunately, that one is gobbled up by Samassa, who now is going to look to distribute it quickly. With us playing the wing-backs on attack, we are going to leave ourselves in a 2-on-2 at the back. They're 2 attackers on our 2 centre-backs. It's going to be, we're not going to have the extra man there, but I'm hoping that will just afford us a little bit more in the way of outballs going forward. And while speaking of outballs going forward, Kenny Lala at right wing back plays it inside. Keane with a tidy little finish, 5th goal of the season. And, well, really nicely worked here. You can see Aouar to Lucas Romero on the overlap. Lala with just so much space. Really nice run by Trincao there to create some space for Moise Keane to run into. And ultimately, we get first blood in this game, and it's an early first blood at that. If we could get another 1 or 2, it would just help me settle down for the remainder of the game. There's always some nerves in the back of my mind about the fact that when you play the rotated 11, maybe it just won't work out for you. Thus far in this game, though, it really has worked wonders. And while we've got another chance here, Aouar. He scored a goal previously against Tottenham. Maybe a more difficult opportunity, this one. A little less in the way of space in front of him. But the shot just off target in the narrowly wide of the post. Troyes thus far have really struggled for possession. You can see, actually, they've had 39%. They've not done anything with it either. We are quite willing to press them here. It looks like they are trying to build something maybe from the back, but we're forcing them to go long and then dealing with it well. Although I say that, they've got a chance here. Fortune inside to Kamaru hits it. There is the risk, I guess, of playing the 2-on-2 at the back. I don't know if it really played a great role in that kind of exact opportunity there. But fair play to Troyes. They get the out ball. You can see here how the 2-on-2 kind of emerges. I mean, could Gnanon do a little bit better there? Maybe. Could Lala have put in a challenge? Maybe, but make no mistake, Demba Kamara there, 7th goal of the season for him, a very, very tidy little finish. Maybe not deservedly back in this game, Twa, but they are not rolling over and dying as I would like them to. I was hoping they'd just give up. You know, all hope would be lost after the initial goal. We've got another corner here. We've had a lot of these highlights. Gnanon, back post, free header, narrowly over the bar in the end there, but another fairly decent heading opportunity for him. We were having a lot of shots, but not that much in the way of clear-cut opportunities. I think to start the second half, I may even switch to the controlling style of play, but we will just tell the wingers to play on attack. Maybe just a little bit more patience needed in the final third. Glenn Kamara's on a booking, so I'm just going to play things safe and bring in Eden Militao for him. Obviously, a real quality player. I feel like we have been the better team. We have the better quality. Hopefully, with just a little bit of time in this second half, we can relax, you know, slightly readjusting our game plan now and come good here. We have traditionally struggled a little bit in these domestic competitions. You know, given how well we've done in the league year on year, I think we have at times, you know, blown opportunities at extra silverware in the 2 domestic competitions in terms of cup competitions within France, and we'll hope that maybe we can do a little better this year as Keane is just given a gift. I mean, the press works for us there. I want to say questionable goalkeeping. It's not questionable. It's just Football Manager things, and the keeper caught completely out of shape. You can see here. We do apply a press very high up the pitch. There isn't really anywhere to go, but the keeper, I mean, where is he going? It's a gift. It's one of those goals where I don't want that to be the difference between winning this game and losing it. We need to win by 2 goals now, otherwise I'm going to feel a little bit dirty about it all. Only 2 shots on target all game thus far. We really have been the better team. We'll hope now that we can just kick on and get a few more just to steady the ship further. Given the fact they've already scored once, there's always nerves, isn't there? There's always that fear factor, I guess, that they could still strike on the counter for us. Moreno down the left-hand side to Keane. I mean, what a finish that is by Keane. He's got his hat-trick. Fair play to him. I said, going into this game at kickoff, want a little bit more from him there. The ball by Moreno is a weird one. The camera kind of struggled to keep up with it. I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but a low-driven crosser you'll see here, and then Keane just on the volley, I think. Really nice. Keeper got a hand to it, but it was not strong enough. And his effort finds its way into the back of the net there. That is the hat-trick for him, but we will want more. And well, maybe we can get more as Trincao hits the woodwork. I think he hit the woodwork. Maybe the keeper saved it. It looked like it hit the woodwork in 3D, but apparently it didn't. I think that's just a case of the animations not quite lining up in the 3D match engine. I will say I've got a new series, which I've been talking about a lot. It will be starting in the next few weeks. I don't want to give an exact date yet because it's still kind of in the planning phases, but we're going to be doing the Canadian save alongside Lyon Live. I'm wondering that when I start that, maybe, just maybe, I'll switch to 2D with 3D highlights of goals. I would be interested to hear your thoughts on switching back to 2D. There's times where I like 3D, but I am a little bit of a fan of the 2D as well. I kind of miss it a little bit. I want to try some very different tactical stuff in the Canadian League even. I think 2D might just help a little bit with that. I would be interested to hear your thoughts, but also it does help with my render times, because if you've ever done YouTube videos, you'll know the kind of process of saving out videos and stuff. If you don't know, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this. Basically, when you make a video for YouTube, it's a bit like baking a pie. You have all your ingredients, like your commentary, audio, the gameplay, the intro or end slate and outro music and all that stuff, and you have to bake it all together into one file to put up on YouTube. And when you have a video that's an hour long, it takes a very, very long time to bake. And the 3D sections of the episodes, the matches, are the bit that takes the longest. It actually is relatively quick to do the bits where it isn't 3D, because pixel by pixel less is changing. Obviously, when I'm not in a match, this sidebar always remains the same. So it's less in the way of rendering, processing in terms of updating those pixels in the video. I realise I'm talking about a very, very mundane niche topic here, but yeah, if you didn't know, I do have to re-render out all of these videos, and it does take like an hour. Some people wonder what my workflow is with Lyon Live. I record an episode usually in the evening before a video goes up. I then render it overnight, get up first thing before work and upload it. And then at the start of my lunch break at work, I do the description, title, ad breaks, all that jazz, and then put the video live. It's like a full-time job is YouTube, but I do it because I love it. And it kind of works quite nicely, to be fair, my overall rhythm. Anyway, we've been drawn against Sundowns. Now, they are the South African team, if I'm not mistaken. How good is my football knowledge? It's expert. Of course it's expert. Never in doubt. Did you guys not know an expert on South African football? I'm now trying to think of how many South African football teams I could name. Kaiser Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, Sundowns. I think that's it. I think that I'm sorry to my few South African viewers. Anyway, we have got the Champions League knockout draw here. We are a unseeded team, which means that we have to get one of these teams on the top. I probably want Porto out of all of them, but it looks like in terms of seeding, things are pretty tough. Barcelona v Man City is a huge game there. Unfortunately, a lot of the teams I would have liked to have got have gone. We've got Juve, Bayern or Real Madrid. I mean, who are we getting? Juventus. Not an easy one. Not an easy one at all. How did Lille do in the group stage? I want to check that now. Let's just have a look. Lille, where are you? You finished third, so they are going to go into the Europa League still. I'm curious to check. I think I can get to the Europa League from here. Yes, I can. Has the draw been made for this competition yet? It doesn't look like it. I'm just wondering if there's any other French teams that made it through here. It's always worth keeping an eye on the coefficient, you know, who's going through. Marseille won their group, which is good news. Monaco won their group. Excellent. Okay, so the coefficient is in pretty good stead. We have two teams in the Champions League knockouts, and we obviously also have ourselves and Monaco. We have ourselves and PSG in the Champions League knockouts, and we've got at least three teams in the Europa League, which I am a fan of. If we just look here at ranking for Ligue 1, you can see it's fifth. Is it fifth? I thought it was higher than that. Let's just check. That's reputation. I want to actually look at the coefficient, not the reputation now I think about it. Yeah, you can see here France rose up to fourth last year, which meant we got an extra automatic qualification spot for next season. But Germany are going to be looking to leapfrog us. How have the German clubs done? I'm just going to check the Champions League real quick. Let's have a look. First knockout round draw. Bayern made it through, as did Leipzig and Bayer. So actually, we as a French contingency, myself and PSG, have a little bit of pressure on our shoulders to do well to hopefully maintain the coefficient. Anyway, we have got fixtures coming up. We've got the game against Sundowns tomorrow. And I mean, the good news going into this game is we've rested the team pretty well. It is going to be the Club World Championship semi-final. It's a competition which takes place over a very, very short period of time. You can see in the other semi-final, Corinthians have won. Of course, the Brazilian side, they have a pretty good team, if I'm not mistaken. Apparently, we've scouted one of their players, Mateus Vital, answers on a postcard as to which is correct. I mean, their team looks pretty solid. They're not going to be a freebie team to play against, looking at it. But the good news is we are going to go into it and this semi-final well rested. We've had, well, a fair bit of time to recover and relax. Hopefully, we're going to be able to show that on the scoreline. Also worth noting that the Ligue 1 games are still going on. So we're hoping that PSG can slip up a little bit here. Monaco won. How did PSG get on? Oh, wait. This is the Coupe de la Ligue. Ignore me. We played our Coupe de la Ligue game earlier. I guess. I did notice that when we did our Coupe de la Ligue game, it was the only match on that date. I guess it got rescheduled to be sooner because of this specific match. But anyway, for this game against Sundowns, we are going to play the best 11. Of course we are. I mean, look at this team. This is a scarily good team when you look at it, isn't it? And it's going to come in very, very well rested. which is great news as far as we are concerned. I'm just wondering if I want to start Bertrand Traore, but I don't think I can justify it. Thing is, he wasn't part of my rotated 11 either, so maybe it's worth giving him a bit of game time here. We could bring him on for Depay, and then maybe swap the wings of Traore and Coman around. This probably makes the most sense. Oh, okay, we can actually have 12 subs for this game. I did not realise that. That's nice. So Glenn Kamara, you can be in. Gnanon, Rajkovic. I mean, there you go. 12 subs. It's as if 12 subs plus 11 players is the exact number of players I could register for the competition. It's as if they planned it all out. Anyway, looking at their team, they're going to play a 4-2-3-1, I guess, or a 4-3-3 with 2 defensive mids. They've actually got a regen in their team. He looks okay. Get a scout report on him. The rest of their team, though, looks pretty solid. I'm not going to claim there's loads of household names I recognise, but they seem to have pretty good quality in their team. Certainly better than I was anticipating, but nevertheless, we should be beating them here, and we will certainly hope to do that in this game convincingly. Strongest 11's out on the pitch. Let's see what they can do. It's the FIFA Club World Championships, and it's snowing. Woo! I mean, it's beautiful. That's really distracting, isn't it? See all these pixels changing, guys. Extra render time. Extra render time on the videos. The cake is going to take longer to bake. Fakir, can you give us a cake? No. He's given us a pie to the face there. Effort wide of the post. I had a lot of hope. I'm curious. Where is the Club World Club? Where is the championship taking place? It's taking place in South Korea. How exciting! Anyway, they're on the attack here. Crunching tackle there by Mendy. I love it. Now with Coman out on the left. Look at us in our green suit. We look great. Back to Toussaint now. He spreads it to Ndombele. Options on ahead. Decides he doesn't need them. Shot ultimately narrowly wide of the post. Not a bad effort though, really. An early sighter perhaps. Early stages of this game look promising. 17 minutes gone. We're all over them. Just need to try and break the deadlock early if we can, and well, we're going to try and do it here as the ball's whipped in by Militao. Cleared away to Toussaint, who goes back wide. Second ball in, maybe. Goebbels is there, saved, rebound. I mean, the keeper. The technique looked questionable in 3D, but ultimately, he's made 2 absolutely huge saves there. It looks like Mendy might have picked up a little bit of a knock, but he's recovering from it. Apparently it's a tight hamstring. You know what? I don't really want to risk it. I know that might seem a little bit weird. It's just not something that I feel like is worth chancing. Hamstrings. I don't like hamstrings. I feel like we might be hamstringing ourselves a little bit here. It's 0-0 at half time. I mean, it would be disastrous if we don't make it to the final. Make no mistake. I'm going to switch to the controlling style of play. Maybe we can craft out quality opportunities instead of the quantity of opportunities we've done so far in this game. Want us to maybe just take a little bit more time with everything. Maybe get our heads up, look for passing options. Try and create a little bit more. An hour gone in this game now. Traore's not had a particularly good game. He's also on a booking, so we're going to take him off. And we're going to bring in Depay, I think. Goebbels has not played too great, so we could bring in Moise Kean for him as well. Although that would be all of our changes done with only an hour gone. So we'll just go with a single change for now. I would like to see Goebbels just step up a little bit. Maybe he can do that with, Depay now on the pitch. The ball here out on the right-hand side. Ndombele. Ball switched across to Toussaint. Have a go, Toussaint. Have a go, Toussaint. An unlikely hero with a thunderous effort. It's his first goal of the season. He thinks he's Robin Hood. And with a shot hit as hard, firmly, and as accurate as that, maybe he is giving from the... Well, I was going to say taking from the rich and giving to the poor. Really, against Sundowns scoring, he's taking from the poor and giving to the rich. He's gone rogue. But he has got us the goal in this game. And I'm a happy bunny. I am a happy bunny. What can Fakir do now? Whips it in back post. Wallace is there, hits the woodwork. Decent opportunity for him that ultimately Sundowns deal with. I would like to score a few more. I mean, they're about to have a player sent off here, aren't they? With that in mind, I'm going to be relentless here. We're going to switch our wing-backs to play on attack. And I'm going to bring in Moise Kean for Goebbels in the final third. The regen has been sent off. I shouldn't have clicked on him. I drew attention to him and it's all gone wrong. But yeah, we're going to do our last change of the game. We have an extra man. I'm going to push the wing-backs on. I want to try and get 1 or 2 more goals if we can. Maybe we're leaving ourselves open to the counter-attack, but it's a risk I'm willing to take as Ngoma brings the ball forward, gives it to Coman. Now with Fekir here. And Ndombele dispossessed. I mean, it's not over yet, Jack. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. I need some more variations on that anecdote because I use that one way too often. I'm trying to think of modern day alternatives. Don't count your blue Smarties before you open the tube. Nah, not working for me. We've got a penalty, but let's not worry about Smarties. We don't need to. For those of you wondering what the hell are Smarties, I realise we have a global audience here. They're like these little chocolate pebble things with like coloured casing. They're like Skittles but chocolate. I feel like Skittles are global. I don't know if Smarties are global. We've missed the penalty. I'm just talking about all these sweets. Lenglet, what can you do? We need a second goal here. We deserve a second goal. I mean, to be fair, their keeper is the greatest goalkeeper of all time. I think he might have the highest rating on their team. Single-handedly buying them a chance in this game. They've still got their raffle in the ticket thanks to him. Sundowns going long here. I mean, if they do get a goal, it is going to be a little bit annoying, isn't it? Because we have been just so much better than them. We need the second goal, please. With 10 minutes left, I don't feel 100% comfortable just yet. Coman whips it in. Keane. Header, not clean. Narrowly wide of the post. Their keeper is on a 7.4 rating. That never happens in Football Manager. That's when you know that he's having a very, very good game. 4 minutes left of added time. I would love a second goal. It would be nice. This is meant to be the easiest game that we're going to have in this competition. We've got Corinthians next. We've got to play better against them. Long range effort. Keeper again makes a save. It wasn't textbook. Wasn't pretty, but he's got it done. Fekir now from the corner. We've had a lot of corner highlights today. We've had 12 corners in total. Wallace's free header goes over the crossbar. I mean, how is it 1-0? Another chance here. 2 minutes left. Can we get the goal? I mean, the keeper saves it. He's the greatest goalkeeper we've ever seen in Football Manager. Facts. He almost deserves to get man of the match. I hope he does. We got a chance here. Coman down the right. What can you do, Kingsley? What can you do? Long live the King. Do you get it? Kingsley, Coman, long live the Keane. It would have been great if he'd scored the header to make the pun and joke work, but he missed. So it didn't work. Right, 1 minute left. We're 1-0 up. Somehow I've managed to pull off the most casual commentary ever in a game that I should be more frustrated about than anything else, but it's not really worked out for us here, has it? Alberto Moreno, maraudering down the left. What can he do? Options inside. Decides to get fouled and do a commando roll on the ball. I mean, I think that is going to be all she wrote. I think the fat lady is starting to sing. I can hear her in the background. Maybe one last chance. Memphis whips it in. Keeper, I mean, we've had 17 shots on target and only scored 1. Their keeper, Onyango, man of the match. Definitely, he's got to be man of the match, right? If he isn't, it's a robbery. In fact, Toussaint's been giving it to him. Onyango, you are my man of the match, my friend. I salute you. He's always played in South Africa. I'm Supersport United. I literally knew that team existed. Anyway, congratulations, we're in the final. I could criticise the players for the fact it was only 1-0, but I don't want to knock their confidence. We're going to be playing Corinthians. It's in 3 days' time. They've had an extra day of recovery, but I believe they might have played an earlier round. Actually, I'm not sure on the exact format of the Club World Championship. Maybe the South American team doesn't have to play in the quarterfinals. Now I think about it, I think they and ourselves join at the semi-finals with the hosts taking their spot kind of sooner. Let's just have a quick look at players who are transfer listed and have contracts expiring. Are there any who are super hotly recommended to us? What have you got for me? I do quite like the look of Cardoso here, just as a punt at 20. He could be perfectly fine for the reserve team. There's some pretty big name players available. Hamsik, Cavani. Do I really want any of these guys in their 30s? Probably not. What about transfer listed players? Who have we got? Moussa Dembele still transfer listed. Vinicius Jr. still unhappy. They want 61 million. He's valued at like 13 million. I'm just gonna go with another offer that's non-negotiable and just try and upset them some more. You can see here there's a few players who are quite hotly recommended. Harry Winks is available. He's a pretty good player in Football Manager terms. He's only 24. He could be an interesting centre mid option if that was, you know, an area of the pitch I wanted to improve. With Glenn Kamara maybe trying to force a move, I wouldn't be against the idea of getting someone else in that position there. A few big names transfer listed, but they're all kind of a little bit too old for my liking. We've got such a young squad. I kind of want to keep that young blood flowing in. I don't really want to be getting in older players. I have noticed in the comments of this series, a lot of people telling me, Jack, you need to play your younger players. I find that really confusing as an idea, like I need to play my younger players because my team's so young anyway. It's not like I've got, you know, a team of old fogies who are playing. Fogies, that's a very weird word. Like, in terms of players under the 23, we've got 4 of them in our starting 11. And then when you look on the bench and beyond, like, our team just is a young squad on the whole. It's so many players in their early 20s. Really anything below the age of 25 I'd consider relatively young. So with that in mind, you can see here, like, just a massive part of our team is younger players. Like, there's definitely players who I'd like to give more football to, like Trincao. But at the same time, it's not like we're not playing any young players whatsoever. The reason I loan out so many players in our reserves is because they're kind of good young players who maybe would play in the first team with really regular first team football aiding their development. But at least right now, they're just not going to get in my team at all. And so it's just one of those things where I'd rather loan them out and help their development. I mean, you can see players like Gravenberch and Shadas have really, really benefited from their loans out. I mean, to be honest, Shadas looks top draw. Dribbling a 15, first touch a 15, long shots a 15, passing a 15, technique a 15. They are all very close to turning yellow. And suddenly when they become yellow, he looks better. I know that's a weird thing to say, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm saying. Basically, with the attributes, it's always a little bit deceptive. I mean, when you compare him to Fekir, he's not a world away from Fekir aged 23. Like, just across the board, he's really not that far away. Yes, Fekir's significantly better in terms of overall attacking ability, but Shadas is not that far away. And one of the reasons he's benefited so much is because of the fact that he has been getting regular first-team football for the last 2 or 3 years now. You know, he might not have been playing at particularly great teams, but first-team football is absolutely invaluable for player development. And if I was to keep hold of a player like him and not loan him out, it would have meant that players like Awar wouldn't have developed as much, who has got game time still. Really, whilst we do have a lot of young prospects here at Lyon, I am bringing in young prospects, holding on to the ones who I think, yes, you can immediately play a role in the first team. And then those that aren't, rather than just sticking them in the reserves or playing them for 2 or 3 games a season, I'm just loaning them out to try and get them regular first team football. Of course, the exception is a lot of the regens, the really young players who have recently joined us. You kind of look at our youth team here, look how stacked it is, full of players. Of course, the best of these players are already in our first team as well. You can see here, you know, we've got them trading with the team. Marco de Jong looks very, very solid as a player who could maybe play out on the right-hand side for us. Einada, as a striker, has already made his league debut. He looks top drawer, aged 17. Auger, a little bit disappointing with this guy's development, but still, he's only 16, he's doing well. And, you know, Kone, a good player as well, who, if opportunities arose, may well find himself in the first team sooner rather than later. But anyway, let's get into the game here against Corinthians. It's a massive game for us. I think it is Corinthians, right? I'm like 100% sure it is. I don't want this to be another Pokemon situation. I've talked about this anecdote a load of times. I'm not going to talk about it again. Corinthians is always how I've said this team's name in my head when I've read it. But now that I think about it more, I don't know if I've ever heard their name said aloud. I don't know. And we could just call them Core. but not quite as catchy, is it? Let's be honest. Anyway, there are League 1 games going on today. Dijon, can you do us a favour against PSG? Now, PSG are top of the league. They've played an extra game. If they can win this next game, we'd be 4 points behind them with 2 games in hand. There would be a little bit of pressure maybe just starting to develop on our shoulders there. Granted, our games in hand are against Strasbourg, and if I'm not mistaken, Saint Etienne, who are bottom of the league. So it could be a little worse. In fact, you can see here it's Strasbourg and Montpellier. So 2 games you'd very much back us to win. You can see here Monaco won, as did PSG. So not great for us really in the grand scheme of things. We are now down to 3rd, 2 games in hand, but I'd much rather be the team on top rather than the team, being set, I guess, a gauntlet to get through. You can see here, Ferreira, 2 assists for Brest. Great news for his development. He's looking really, really solid. Max also playing for Brest, only played 5 minutes. Marin didn't play too much time for Nice in the same game. Shadas had an okay game for Gungam, who ended up losing. And Owusu helped Strasbourg get a clean sheet. Anyway, let's get into today's game. Recovery from the players has been largely solid. For this game, we are going to start with Coman out on the right and Depay on the left. I think we will actually start this game with the controlling style of play. With that in mind, I am going to be playing Coman as an inside forward. Obviously, he is naturally right-footed, so he's not going to cut in quite so much. But yeah, I feel like, especially when now that you see their formation, they're going to be looking to hit us on the break quite a bit here. So let's give them a good game. Let's show them what we're made of. I feel a little bit surprised they're playing so conservatively. When I think of South American football, I just think balls to the wall attacking play, crazy formations with kind of 3 centre-backs, the 2 centre defence and mids as Segundo Volantes. It's a little more conservative from Corinthians today. Because their 2 wider players are playing deeper, I have also set our right back and left back on attack for this game as they have a decent opportunity. They hit the woodwork from a free kick in the 10th minute. We should be winning this. I expect us to win this, but make no mistake, this is not a free, easy game. This is going to be, be troublesome. Half an hour gone. Yes, we have been the team massively controlling this game. Corinthians the only team to have a highlight so far, although as I say that, corner to Wallace at the back post, who keeps it alive, back to Ndombele, nods it into a dangerous area. I am not sure what the goalkeeper has done there. I'm not going to complain about what the goalkeeper has done there. Tanguy Ndombele, 4th goal of the season for him. The overhit initial corner looked, well, not particularly good. Wallace, though, kept the chance alive, put it back into a dangerous area. Ndombele, looping header. And I think it just caught everyone out, really. It wasn't a clean header. It didn't look like what he was trying to do or what you'd expect him to try and do, but it's worked out for him. And we are now ahead in this game, and maybe with that we can relax a little. But whilst I want us to relax into our game and continue to play rather than growing complacent. It's 1-0 at half-time. Statistically, all over them. Still going to tell the players I'm not happy. I want them fired up. I want them hungry for this game. Let's see what we can do in this second half of the Club World Championships. We want to win it. We want silverware, don't we, at every opportunity. Depay's had a pretty poor game, as has Coman out on the other wing. I'm going to bring in Trincao for Coman, and I'm going to take off Memphis, and I'm going to bring in St. Maximin. We're going to bring in 2 of the younger players on either wing. Just some fresh blood in those areas. A little bit more pace to be injected into our attack, perhaps with the fresh legs. Defensively, we look really solid. Wallace on a 7.5, Mendy on a 7.2, and Ndombele, the goal scorer, on a 7.2 as well. 10 minutes left in this game. Not been a classic, not been a load of chances, but we've been largely in control. Of course, we can't accept 1-0 as being good enough, I don't feel like. They still have time to get more into this game, and while with 2 minutes left, a goal now for them would give us not a great deal of time to respond. We are, however, the team on the attack. St. Maximin whips in Cabell's free header, hits the woodwork. Los Santos just about manages to hook his foot around the ball and lump it clear. 3 minutes of added time to be played here. Make that 30 seconds. I mean, is that done? Is this dead and buried? It's not been a classic. It's not been a high-scoring affair. a little bit underwhelming, really, if we are going to win the Club World Championship with 2 1-0 wins, but ultimately it's the wins that matter. And, well, with Cabello's being offside, that is almost certainly the last bit of play for this game. It's 1-0. We were massively in control of this game. Not many opportunities for either team. They played a very, very conservative style of play, but it is the red and blue of Lyon which is going to fall from the sky. And it is, well, savour it. Enjoy the trophy celebrations. By the way, if you didn't know, on this bit here, you can click on pitch and just watch the trophy go around. Look at that suit. That is a good suit. I want this suit made for me in real life. We're loving it. I mean, the fans are frozen in spot. They're not really cheering. The Corinthian fans, it's been a hard game. You know, they're not leaving the stadium. They're just standing there watching, thinking, what if? Cameraman's getting a good shot of it. Either way, let's move on. Congratulations, boys. Great win. Good response from them. Don't need to add anything more to that. And yeah, we lift the Club World Championship. We're one of the top English managers. Let's have a look in the Hall of Fame. Take that, Stan Koulis. We're coming for you, boy. We're on 702 points. We've got a little bit of way to go in the Hall of Fame, but we're making our way up the ladder. And I'm pretty happy. I am pretty happy. Overachievers are apparently Guangzhou. Biggest underachievers were Auckland. Game of the tournament, a 4-4 draw with a penalty shootout to decide it. I mean, that's a pretty good game, isn't it, really? Let's be honest. Our 1-0s cannot compete with that. But yes, that wraps things up for us today. You can see, next episode, we've got Saint Etienne twice in a row. The transfer window is also going to be opening, so expect that to be a big focus of the episode. A bit weird to play 4 matches today and for none of them to be in the league. Of course, we do now find ourselves down in 3rd, but you'd expect us to win the games in hand we've got against Strasbourg in 17th and Montpellier in 19th. Whether or not we can do it, I guess you will have to tune in next time and find out. But anyway, guys, that is going to wrap up everything from me today. Hopefully you've enjoyed the return of Lyon Live. If you have, do drop a like on the video. As I said, this series is back daily and going to be the main focus for the next couple of weeks. Hopefully you are going to be enjoying it. If you have enjoyed today's episode, do drop a like on it. Let me know what you make of the new skin, the dark variant. As I said earlier, the download will be available for it sometime in the next week. Still a few little kinks and issues to iron out. And yeah, that is going to be all from me. Thank you for watching. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.